Is Matt Stafford or Joe Burrow the better quarterback right now?
Oh my goodness, that's hard. I think it's Burrow. I do. I'm not one of these guys. Like, there's been a lot of like Burrow's actually better than Patrick Mahomes. Like, I'm not going there yet, but I think I take Burrow. I just think there's something about him. There really is. And I'm not usually one of these like eye test intangible guys, but there's something about that dude who it just he is a winner. He's a heck of a football player, and I'd probably take Burrow over Stafford. But I think Stafford has a much better team. Like I think the team around Stafford's much better in this one. Do you agree with me there? Am I crazy to pick Burrow over Stafford?
Here's the interesting thing. I agree with you. I also think that Joe Burrow is right now today the better quarterback than Matt Stafford. It's going to piss a lot of people off, and people are not going to like hearing that. But one of those things that I think brought me to this position is what he did his last year at LSU was phenomenal, unbelievable, and
maybe greatest college season ever.
Yeah, very arguably the greatest college season by a quarterback in history. And by the way, the head coach was Ed Ogeron, who it turns out was not a very good head coach at LSU despite the talent, which leads me to believe that a lot of that had to do with Joe Burrow. And then on the NFL level, what's intriguing to me is the organization that Joe Burrow is quarterbacking in the Super Bowl now is not at all really that much better than the Detroit Lions. Okay. The Detroit Lions are worse. I agree with that. They are worse. And I think there's an element of the front office. They did have some success in Cincinnati with Marvin Lewis. I think people forget that, not a lot of playoff success, but it was a run of wins there. But again, I think now Ohio's got sort of two Detroit Lions between the Cleveland Browns and the Cincinnati Bengals. But if you want to talk about historically, three of the worst organizations over the last several decades were the Bengals, the Browns, and the Lions. And this guy is absolutely fundamentally raised so much in that organization in terms of his mentality, the belief that guys have in him. We said it from the start. Terez agreed with it. When you watched him play, it was, as you said, whatever that undefinable, unmeasurable, whatever it is that he is bringing out there, it is real. It is real. That is not fake. He has it. And just aren't a lot of quarterbacks in the NFL that do. I mean, like Aaron Rodgers definitely has that. I think Patrick Mahomes definitely has that. There's Brady has that. I mean, it's you have to talk about the best of the best quarterbacks who are bringing something to the table where you're like, oh my gosh, this guy's really Lamar Jackson, I think absolutely has that.
Russ is another one.
Russ has that. Yeah.
There's only a handful of those guys on the planet. And I think
some good quarterbacks that we're talking about.
Really good, yeah.
I don't
know.
Does Matt Stafford have that? Does he have that?
I don't think so. I think I've talked about this a lot. I think there's more than two tiers, but the top two tiers of NFL quarterbacks are those guys you were just talking about, who you can put them in any situation, any coach, any teammates, any scheme, and they're going to raise everybody up. I don't think Matthew Stafford's that guy. I think Matthew Stafford's in that second tier of you could win a Super Bowl with this guy. You could do great things with this guy. He is good. He's a very good quarterback, but he can't put an entire organization on his shoulders and just lead them to the promised land. And the Rams don't ask him to do that. The Rams have a ton of dudes who might end up in the Hall of Fame. We talked about that last week. And a coach who probably is on a Hall of Fame trajectory if he wins this game. And you talked about, like, that's the beauty of Super Bowls. It's like we do this, and it's kind of ridiculous, but it's still fun that we tie so many of these guys' legacies into Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Like, Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald wins the Super Bowl. All of a sudden, we're like, LT or Aaron Donald is the greatest defensive player ever. Like, this is the type of stuff that changes guys' entire career legacy and all that. So I think that Matthew Stafford is very good. I think if I've talked about this a couple weeks ago, and I stick by it. If the Rams win this game, he's going to the Hall of Fame someday. But I don't know that he's one of those 7-8 guys on the planet who's just like, I'm here, I'm your quarterback, we're going to get better tomorrow. Like, I don't know if he's one of those guys.